Hey everyone. On this video I just want to talk about a call I took on Friday from Ashley Campbell. So I've known Ashley for a number of years now through the Working at Heights Association, or WAHA, and we've got a bit of a joint passion, or a shared passion I should say, around confined space safety and work at height safety and so on. Obviously those that follow me and are familiar with my writings and so on LinkedIn and other platforms will know that I've written a number of articles around confined space safety and confined space training and other areas like that. Friday's phone call was an interesting one, a good one. We both got quite passionate at talking about some issues that are facing people in industry at the moment, and of particular concern to us was the conduct of RTOs that are operating around Australia. We've obviously got a nationally accredited system in place in Australia where you can undertake training and assessment and achieve a national competency. The concept behind that I think is a great concept, but I think it's really losing its way, particularly when it comes to high risk activities such as confined space, work at heights, things like that. Friday's conversation sort of revolved around the number of hours that people are doing for training and so forth, and we got talking about different RTOs, and I just did a quick search this morning before recording this video. I just Googled quite literally confined space training, had a look at 5 different providers around Australia, and I found 2 in particular that are very high profile providers, and they are offering a 1-day confined space entry course, both being 8 hours. Now we know that's not a true 8 hours. You've got morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, and other things like that. And they're issuing, one of them's issuing 4 competencies and the other's issuing 5 competencies. So one of those equates to 120 hours when you look at nominal hours, and the other one equates to 104 hours. And they're being delivered in 8 hours. Now, the argument that's coming from RTOs is, we're not teaching atmospheric monitoring and gas testing and things like that. Now, I've got a real issue with that, because if you're going to be entering into a confined space, you need to understand the hazards that are there. You need to understand what you're dealing with, and not just signing on to a permit blindly without fully understanding what's happening and what's going on. But Friday's conversation was quite interesting, because what we both agree, yes, the RTOs have an issue and there's a problem there, but they're responding to market demand. The fact that clients are coming to them and saying, well, I don't have 16 hours or 24 hours or whatever your hours may be for confined space. We want it done in a day. And what concerns me is that RTOs are actually buckling to that. They're actually compromising the quality, and they're actually putting people at risk, I believe, by doing that. To issue 4 competencies in 8 hours, which means that anyone could operate anywhere in Australia using those competencies. It just doesn't gel. It doesn't make sense. I really strongly urge any RTO that they really need to take a long, hard look at their setup and how they operate. And we need to be thinking worst case scenario. If something goes wrong, if the regulator, such as a WorkSafe inspector, or heaven forbid a coroner, gets involved, what scrutiny is that going to bring onto your organisation? Where you're issuing 4 competencies in 8 hours, you've got a problem. There's no 2 ways about it. You've got a significant problem in your organisation, because questions will be asked. Questions will be asked about what training did those people undertake, how long did it go for, what was taught, how were they assessed. Let's face it, again, work at heights and confined space are extremely high risk. It seems almost weekly that the regulators around Australia are putting out alerts, particularly around work at heights issues and fatalities and repeated fatalities that are happening. So I think we need to really look long and hard at that, because, as I said, there will be significant scrutiny at some stage on RTOs that are issuing those sort of competencies with those sort of hours. As always, I welcome some feedback. Please drop me a line, leave a comment below. I think this is a debate that needs to be had, and it needs to be had sooner rather than later, before something goes wrong. Obviously, as workplace accident investigators or incident investigators ourselves, we see it, and we're often asking questions about training and competencies and things like that. Questions will be asked. As I said, leave a comment below, and yeah, look forward to some feedback. Tomorrow I just want to talk part 2 of this and talk a little bit about from an employer perspective as well, because I think just as much there's some significant questions to be asked there as well. Anyway, thanks for your time.